Mary fan, so I like tomato soup. I don't like tomato juice. Is that
Do you
weird?
like McDonald's French fries?
I do. I think everybody does.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a story for you then. McDonald's is set to release a nostalgic meal next week. The food chain says its McDonald Land Meal will be available on August 12th. So it comes with a choice of a quarter pounder with cheese or a 10-piece chicken McNuggets, French fries, of course, and the brand new McDonald Land Shake. Each meal comes with collectible tins filled with postcards and stickers that honor the classic Ronald McDonald characters, including Grimace.
So it's kind of like an adult Happy Meal, it sounds like.
I love that idea. Me and Amy will be there.
That's like, listen, treating myself to like some McDonald's French fries is like the best thing ever.
I know,
right?
Truly.
Every now and then I'm just like, I gotta have them.
Do you go after work sometime? I've done it every once in a while, guys.
Oh, I know. I've done it like every couple months, I feel like.
There you go. It's a treat.
It's balanced.
And now you can get some stickers.
I know.
Like
there
that.
you go. The milkshake looks good too. I'm here for it.
There's no
tomato
ketchup
one,
in
though.
it.
Yeah. No
Thank you for
ketchup in
joining
the
us, everyone.
We'll see you tomorrow.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good Wednesday morning to you, and welcome in to Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Got some a lot coming up in this show today. Want to let you know some of what you can expect. Just wait till you see this. The Red Bull Tandem roller coaster is going to make its U.S. debut later this year in Central Florida. It's coming to Altamont Springs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to want to stay tuned and see this. It is basically riding tandem bicycles that you kind of create on this obstacle course over water. And it's coming to Altamont Springs. It looks like so much fun. And we are going to talk more about that coming up later in the show. The U.S. Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, in Florida today. She was speaking alongside U.S. Senator Ashley Moody to talk about school choice efforts that are growing not only in Florida, but also across the United States. So we will have more on that coming up in just a little bit. We are also standing by, you see a live look at Lake Underhill Park, where the state attorney for Orange and Osceola counties, Monique Worrell, is expected to hold a news conference any minute now on super speeding enforcement efforts. So in case you didn't know, on July 1st, the state's new super speeder law took effect. It has stiffer penalties for drivers caught going either 100 miles an hour or more, or 50 miles an hour over whatever the posted speed limit is. We've already seen several of these arrests here in our area alone, and we do expect the state attorney to speak here briefly. We will bring that to you live as soon as it begins. But right now, Fox 35's Marley Capper takes a deeper look at that law and what we can expect to hear from the state attorney here in just a few minutes.
Well, we can expect a press conference from the state attorney, and she's going to break down how she plans to enforce this law. This law's goal was to really cut down on speeders, especially because a lot of crashes, death-related crashes in the state of Florida have speeding as a component to it. And there's been plenty of examples in the past few months of people going way over the speed limit. So for those who don't know, the super speeders law is if you go 50 over the speed limit or 100 over 100 miles per hour, you have the risk of ending up in jail. So it's really important to be following these laws. Now, one example in particular, Anthony Hammond was recently arrested under the law. Volusia County deputies say he was going 105 miles in a 45. He said he didn't know there was a new super speeder law.
There's a what law?
Super speeder law.
Super speeder law.
Yeah. If you're 100 miles an hour over on any road or 50 mile an hour over the speed limit, you go straight to jail. And we take your car.
Yeah, this is my first time hearing it.
Well, you're hearing about it the wrong way.
Your first time hearing it is not an excuse under the law, so you want to make sure that you are driving the speed limit. And just an FYI for all drivers or maybe tourists, if you're visiting, the highest posted speed limit in the state of Florida is 70 miles per hour. So if you are going 30 over, which you shouldn't be, that's over 100 already. So you want to make sure that you are being smart and being wise.
Yeah, and we do want to go ahead and get you to this news conference, although it appears it is just about to get underway, but it also appears that our feed is frozen at the moment. So we will try to see if we can troubleshoot that and get things working on that feed, because it is completely frozen at the moment. It looks like it may be coming back, and we are just getting underway here. So let's go ahead and listen back in as we hear this news conference from the state attorney's office, and Monique Worrell stepping up to the podium right now.
Everyone good? All right. Education Initiative. I'm here today to talk about Florida's new July 1st of this year. We've all experienced driving on the highway at or near speed limit when someone zooms past us. I know I've stopped often and wondered, how fast must they be going? If I'm going 70 miles an hour, how fast is this person going that just zoomed past me at a high rate of speed? The super speeder law is directed towards a serious and growing threat to public safety on our roads, excessive speeding, and provides us with a stronger framework to address it. As of July 1st, drivers in Florida who exceed the speed limit by 50 miles per hour or more can now be charged with a misdemeanor. That's 30 days, $100 fine, even on your first offense. This is a significant increase from simple traffic citations, and this can happen even with no prior criminal history. This law is a critical step towards saving lives and addressing the dangerous rise in reckless driving on our roads. This is not the type of offense that you normally see crime and prosecution. However, this is the type of offense worker and sadly even your teenagers. Just this week, Florida Highway Patrol reported a Dodge Charger driving at a high rate of speed in the southbound lanes of I-75 in Sumter County near Wildwood, overtook evasive action to avoid a collision. His car hit a tree and erupted into flames. There were minor injuries reported on that 17-year-old passenger, with serious injuries in 2021, right here behind me on the 408, an individual was driving a Porsche at 100 and more and swerved to go. and rear-ended and killed a victim. July 2nd, 2025, of the prosecutors in my office, that individual was convicted of traffic homicide and now awaits sentencing, facing a minimum of 9 years in prison. Too many lives are lost due to reckless speeding. In 2024 alone, there were over 30 traffic-related deaths across Orange and Osceola counties. Many of those fatalities involved drivers traveling at dangerous, uncontrollable speeds. These are not just numbers. These are 30 real families who now face empty seats at dinner tables, missed birthdays, and futures stolen in seconds by the poor choices made by reckless drivers. I want to commend Sheriff Mina on his leadership in working to get this law passed for the protection of our communities. This law is a critical step towards saving lives, addressing the dangerous rise in reckless driving on our roads. Our office is committed to working hand in hand with law enforcement to make sure drivers who put others at risk face real consequences, especially when that driving results in the loss of life. I have instructed that all such cases filed under this law be flagged in our system and with the approval of our management. Together, we are making it clear that reckless speeding will not be ignored and that protecting lives will always be a top priority. Unfortunately, despite our best efforts at educating the community, there will still be individuals who fail to keep requiring us to enforce the laws and hold them accountable. Don't let that person be you. Slow down. Drive responsibly. No trip is worth the life of a member of our community. Thank you.
Oh, continuing to have some issues with our feed here. Let's see if it, we'll give it a second to see if it clears up as the state attorney might begin to take some questions here. But again, talking about the super speeding law, saying no trip is worth it, worth the risk. You're talking, these penalties are for drivers going 100 miles an hour or faster, or 50 miles an hour over the speed limit. The highest posted speed limit in Florida is 70 miles an hour. So certainly, you know, no business going that fast
So I can't
to begin with.
Case because I'm not.
It does sound like we may
Someone has
be getting this feedback. We can give it another try here and see what the state attorney has to say.
Appropriate that they're.
All right, we're going to give up on that for now. Still having a lot of trouble with that stream, very glitchy. But she is taking questions. We're going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus. If it clears up in that break, we will go ahead and get you back inside at the news conference at the Lake Underhill Park in Orlando about super speeding. We're going to take a quick break. Keep it here on Fox Local and on YouTube, and we'll be right back. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner joins me now. And Brooks, bracing for more of those storms today.
Boy, those storms last night, Garrett, were intense. Here in Central Florida, it was almost like a strobe light, except combined with what sounded like artillery fire. Between every lightning strike was a boom of thunder with very little time between, indicating just how close in proximity each strike truly was. You know, we were just happy at our house that we didn't get hit by lightning. It was on that level. And today we could have more of those. It'll be a muggy, steamy day followed by more afternoon storms. And, you know, as we progress into the weekend, we're going to see even more rain. So this could be one of the rainier weeks of the entire summer. And last night in the yellow areas, this is the 24-hour rainfall, we had between 2 and 6 inches of rain. One report from a weather spotter of 7 inches of rain. Not all of us got a soaking, but some of us had a torrent. Our house in Seminole County for sure. 82 degrees in Leesburg. We're warming up really fast out there, and it's going to be a hot one with highs today in the lower to middle 90s. Good beach weather, about a 40% chance for rain at the beaches. Most of the action will be west of 95. But there will be a moderate to high risk for rip currents thanks to some distant tropical storm Dexter swell. We'll talk much more about that coming up. Dexter is moving out. As far as our forecast goes, the sunshine will be with us through mid-afternoon. Then the clouds will build, and then we'll start to see isolated to scattered storms peaking between 5 and 7 p.m. Nothing abnormal for summertime, especially for August. However, the storms will have a lot more punch as far as their rainfall potential goes, thanks to some higher levels of tropical moisture. Now, the rain chance will continue through about midnight, especially across north central Florida, but it won't be as widespread as yesterday across the area. Now, we've got more on the way. Our storm threats feature lots of lightning. That's going to be a big one. Frequent lightning followed by blinding downpours. Yeah, especially for the commute time, severe wind gusts, and even an isolated tornado. We saw one Monday afternoon in the Narcoossee area of northern Osceola County. That one thankfully did not cause any damage to any homes or structures, but it was a sign of just the instability. Speaking of instability, this is Dexter, Tropical Storm Dexter, not the popular TV character who obviously has instability as well, if you watch that show. This one moving out into the open Atlantic. We could joke about it because it has no impact on land. It will be a storm for shipping lanes only. Winds at 45 miles per hour. It is forecast to maintain its tropical characteristics for no more than a day or two longer before it transitions into a non-tropical system and moves into the open Atlantic as a gale center. Meanwhile, we've got a track an area of low pressure that's developing about 400 miles east of Florida. This is a little swirl you can see on the bottom of the screen there, and it has a potential to become a tropical system. In fact, the National Hurricane Center is tracking a 40% chance that this may slowly develop. Now, if that happens and where it goes are still up for debate, but the National Hurricane Center has been putting their money where their mouth is, and they've tasked a flight to investigate this system set to take off later today, about 2 o'clock, a recon mission for the U.S. Air Force out of Biloxi, Mississippi, flying a C-130 into where they suspect the center of low pressure may be forming. Now, that could be canceled if they determine that it's not an imminent threat, but if they go for it, I mean, these missions aren't cheap, Garrett. They're like $110,000 or more per flight. So a lot of money going into these recon flights between the staffing and the fuel and the wear and tear and all that stuff. So it's not a casual visit. They mean business when they go into these things. So when they fly in, we pay special attention. Now, elsewhere in the tropics, we got to pay attention to this. There's a tropical wave that is located about 1,000 miles west of the continent of Africa at this point. The Atlantic Ocean is huge. And that's important in the forecast because this could go anywhere at this point. There's a 60% chance in the next 7 days it could develop. Now that orange blob is not the cone of where we think it's going to go. That's where the center of low pressure may develop. And once it does, a cone would be created. And a lot of the models take this thing a little bit west, like farther west, potentially into the Caribbean, maybe even toward the southeast. And this is the first tropical wave emerging off of Africa that actually has a chance to become a tropical storm or even a hurricane. We've had, so far, the tropical storms that have formed from like old frontal boundaries, homegrown systems, as they're known. So this would be the first main development region tropical system to form. Well, in the 7-day forecast, look for high rain chances, not just today, but especially tomorrow and Friday with an 80% chance, that high rain chance continuing into the weekend. Now, a determining factor for our weekend forecast will be if that low pressure system off of Daytona develops. And if it does, where does it go? Does it track into Florida or does it head into the Carolinas? It's all fair game at this point. Hopefully when we get an aircraft in there to drop some weather instrumentation, we'll have a better idea of what's going on to make a better forecast as far as what may happen. So that is the latest from the world of weather, Garrett. It's going to be steamy, hot, and stormy with a little bit of tropical sprinkled on top.
A little bit of everything for our beginning of August here.
You got it. You got it. All part of the year. All part of the game here living in Florida.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Brooks Garner, we appreciate you joining us.
You got it. My pleasure. Thank you.
And we are going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but as we do so, give you a live look at downtown Orlando. It is certainly a beautiful view on this Wednesday morning. Keep it right here. More Fox 35 News Plus after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning live on Fox Local and on YouTube. U.S. Education Secretary Linda McMahon was in Florida this morning in Hillsborough County alongside U.S. Senator Ashley Moody, a Republican from Florida and the state's junior senator. They were talking about what they say legislative successes when it comes to expanding school choice, looking not just here in Florida, but also across the country. They were talking about donation-funded scholarship programs for charter schools and private schools. At this event, Linda McMahon, Secretary McMahon, said that Florida is leading the charge when it comes to returning education to the states. We know there's been a lot of talk about the dismantling the U.S. Department of Education. McMahon also talked about a new federal tax credit scholarship program that begins in January of 2027. So not this coming January, but the following January. And Florida is expected to opt in to that program. Here's what Education Secretary McMahon said at that news conference just a little bit ago.
It's always great to be in a facility like this that's already had such success, and to be in a wonderful state that understands about how a rising tide lifts all boats with freedom of choice for schools. And Florida is the free state, and so to have universal school choice is really fantastic. The president is absolutely committed that no child should be trapped in a failing school, and he's also absolutely committed that education needs to be returned to the states, and part of my job is to make sure that we're finding out best practices so that many states can follow those best practices. You know, some states are going to do it very well. Florida is a leading example. So I am incredibly happy to be here with you this morning. Florida is on the front lines of our mission to return education back to the states where it does belong. On multiple different metrics, Florida has been ranked #1 for education. I'm being redundant with you, Senator, you know your state so well. While the rest of the country has struggled with literacy, and let me just stop for 1 second to say that literacy is going to be my #1 issue over this next year, because we can't read, we can't learn. But here we see incredible English language arts performance in grades 3 through 10, increasing 21 percentage points last year. That's amazing. You should give yourself a round of applause. Those of you parents and now, these improvements were due in part to evidence-based learning strategies implemented at the state level. Florida is a leader in the science of reading, and now we're seeing many states adopting that. It's taking student progress seriously in every single one of your districts. This has been possible in spite of the federal government imposing bureaucratic requirements and needless red tape. But Florida's educational accomplishments aren't just limited to the classroom. Florida has passed common sense laws that give parents control over their children's education, protecting them from DEI indoctrination and enabling students to learn freely. Congratulations to you parents, because I do believe, as does the president, that the very best education for our children in this country is that education that is closest to the child. Part of our mission to get government out of the way means putting parents in charge, putting them first, and making sure that they are highly involved in their children's education. Parents should also be in the driver's seat when it comes to opportunity and choice. Every student deserves a shot at success, and no child should be shackled to a failing school. Both on the state level here in Florida and on the federal level, thanks to President Trump and Congress, thank you, we are removing those shackles. The one big beautiful bill, or as we like to say at the Department of Education, OB3, it's a little easier to say, established a new federal tax credit scholarship program, which we've been discussing, for K through 12 education to support families choosing private schools or education options that best meet their children's needs. And as the Senator said, it's no one size fits all for education. The program enables individuals to contribute tax-credited scholarship funds that provide scholarships for private school tuition and a host of other education-related services, products, and providers. The program is set to launch in January 2027, but requires Florida's opt-in to become available. Somehow I think that's going to happen. If I were a betting woman, I think I'd say that. I'm confident the Free State will be among the first to opt in, because Florida has long led the field in school choice. This year, EdChoice named Florida the #1 state for school choice in the nation. That's an incredible accomplishment. Congratulations. Florida has been consistently ahead of the curve when it comes to programs that empower parents to ensure their children are getting an excellent education, with educational options ranging from public, private, charter, virtual, and even homeschooling. And the president doesn't care how children get educated. He just wants them to have the absolute choice. You know, when the NAEP scores came out, the nation's report card scores came out shortly after he became president, he was horrified, absolutely horrified at where the United States was ranked on an international basis, you know, where our scores were, you know, within our country. Florida continues to help parents with their students' education by facilitating school choice scholarships to families, no matter their tax bracket. Now, Congress is partnering with states to expand school choice even farther. The One Big Beautiful Bill also expands 529 plans, special family savings accounts for education, to include books, materials, testing fees, dual enrollment fees, educational therapies, and tutoring costs. School choice is the future, not just here in Florida, but nationwide. But it's not just the future, it's the now. And you folks are on top of it here. It introduces competition to public school system and improves performance. Study after study shows the positive impact of school choice on public school academic achievement. Florida leads by putting parents back in control and increasing educational freedom. Freedom to innovate, to let teachers teach. You know, it's been one of my biggest issues that teachers really are handcuffed in their classroom because they spend more time complying with regulations than they are having the innovation to be able to teach. Red tape is just really handcuffing our teachers. And I saw a stat not too long ago that said that 47 cents of every dollar in the classroom, teachers are spending complying with regulation. That's just a shame. Let's get that money to the kids. Let's get that money in the classrooms. Freedom to innovate, to let teachers teach, and to let students explore. This is what motivates our mission to work with Congress and reduce bureaucracy at the federal level. Other states should look to Florida as an example as we prepare to give educational power back to the states. With states working together to rise to the occasion and become innovators on behalf of students, we can ensure that every American has the opportunity to achieve educational excellence. So that's our mission, to return education back to the states, to provide best practices. I'm touring all over the country. I've been to about 10 to 12 states now. I'm visiting all kinds of different schools, micro schools, charter schools, full public schools, homeschooling, to develop toolkits for those states who aren't being as innovative and creative as Florida is, so that governors, school superintendents can take a look at that and say, I think this would work for me. How can we make our education better? So that is my goal. I hope it will be a part of my legacy as we do work to shut down the bureaucracy of education in Washington by making it better for every single state and to give it all back to our kids.
We'll be right back with more Fox 35 News Plus after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
And welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. We just heard from the Education Secretary in Florida today talking about school choice. It is back to school time as well, just a week away, less than a week away, just a few days away now from the start of school for many students, including those in Osceola County. They do go back on Monday morning, and right now bus drivers are learning their route, also learning some new technology on board. Fox 35's Matt Trezza shows us that technology that tracks stops, students, and even has some radar on the bus.
Technology is what it's all about here at Osceola County Schools to help keep the students safe when they're getting the bus to and from their destinations. To talk more about this, I'm joined by Orville Watson. So tell me about this device that you've got here. We've got this tablet. What's on it? How is it going to help buses, drivers, and students?
Okay, well, what we have here in the Reaxium tablet, so we have a GPS navigation screen. So it helps our drivers. It will tell the drivers the next stop. It will also tell the drivers how many students we have on board. And as they scan on, it goes up. As they scan off, it goes down. So we know how many students we should be looking for as they do a walkthrough at the end of their trip. It also helps the students easier scan. The scan is so easier on this tablet. So they'll scan on real easy. They can get on, which potentially can reduce the amount of time that we stop at a stop, which will help to alleviate some of the traffic during our stops. And for our new drivers, it will tell them, hey, turn left, turn right. This is what your next stop is. So it really, really enhances the capabilities of our driver.
Excellent. Now, this replaces a previous system that you had. Tell me about the advantages of this system over that one, and also how parents can access the information.
All right. Well, how parents will access the information, there is an app. It's called My Reaxium. So they will be able to download that app. So that will give them visibility of their children. So when they scan on and off of the bus, the difference with this is that we have turn-by-turn voice for our drivers. In addition to this, we know, like I mentioned, how many students are on and off. It will actually give us the capability to have photos. So when a student scan on, we can see that, hey, this is the right person that's scanning. So there's a lot of capabilities in this that we did not have in our previous version.
Excellent. And tell me about some of this radar technology that you're also helping pilot program with the South Korean company Pioneer here.
Well, there's a Smart Systems Radar is the company that we've partnered with to come up with a technology for what we call pedestrian detection around the bus. Even under the carriage of the bus, they have radars that will detect if there's someone in the vicinity, in the proximity, or even if there's someone under the bus. And in addition to that, we've also talked with them to add some additional capabilities, which is to put sensors inside of the bus. So if there's a child that is left in the bus, it actually detects for heartbeats. Even if they're under the chair, it will still pick up that heartbeat, and so it will notify the driver that there's still someone on the bus, and it will also send a notification to the management team that there's someone sit on that bus. Amazing technology.
Absolutely. All the different ways that Osceola County Schools are keeping students safe.
Yeah, I tell you what, riding the school bus a lot more high tech than it used to be, but it is fascinating to learn about that technology and everything that it can do, and hopefully help keep more of those kids safe. A new report from the Orlando Business Journal found that housing markets along Florida's coast are seeing a major slowdown. Meanwhile, inland markets are faring pretty well right now. So what does that mean for us here in Central Florida? Lawrence Bolito, the 2025 Orlando Regional Realtor Association president, was on Good Day Orlando this morning to answer that question.
So you're talking about markets that are slowing down. Are those mostly along the coast? If so, why is that?
If they're slowing down, might be people are just leaving the area due to the storms that are happening, and possibly the repairs that needs to be done after a flood or something. So that's causing them to want to switch locations and move more to Central Florida.
So what's happening to those home prices there then on the coast?
They're definitely balancing out, and now's a good time to go out there and capitalize on a great offer with a property.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think this is going to cause more people, though, to try to move here to Central Florida? Because when you talk about maybe prices on the coast being more reasonable than maybe people thought they were, they're like, oh, this may be my chance to buy that property I've always wanted on the water.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right now that we're heading to a more balanced market, it is a great time to look out for a great deal, a steal maybe in the coastline. Yeah. Absolutely.
But let's talk about not coastline. Let's talk about inland areas, right? Because there's so many people that I've talked to who have said, this is not the time for me to buy because interest rates are high, home prices are high, and you say what to that?
I say don't focus so much on the interest rates right now. Get into your dream home first, and then what you're going to do is you get into the property. After you get in, you want to wait till the interest rates go a little lower, then you can refinance your property.
Okay, so you and I were off camera and we came up with a little expression. I don't think it's ours. I think we just kind of, are recoining it. We said you date the rate and you
marry the house. Absolutely.
You date the rate and you marry the house.
Yes.
And so having said that, then, do you think that interest rates, of course, interest rates are the same and they're a little bit high right now for some people, but for people who want to buy now, the bottom line is it is a good time?
It's an excellent time because when you get into the house, you can ask for repairs, closing costs, especially closing costs right now. So that you can get into a home with little out of pocket.
Very quickly, buyers or sellers market?
I'm going to say balanced.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still a balanced market. It just depends on the seller and on how they promote their property and who they use as a real estate agent to sell their home.
We're going to take a quick break here on Fox 35 News Plus. As we do so, give you a view from our Launch Credit Union camera in Titusville, looking toward the Kennedy Space Center along Florida's Space Coast. Keep it right here on Fox Local.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning, live on Fox Local and on YouTube. Next week, Florida's Public Service Commission will appear in court over Florida Power and Light, FPL's $10 billion rate increase request. Officials are saying they believe it to be potentially the largest utility rate hike in U.S. history. Congresswoman Kathy Castor, who represents Florida's 14th district in Hillsborough and Pinellas counties, talked yesterday about the national and statewide implications of this case if that rate hike goes through.
Last year, FPL made record earnings. In fact, the Office of Public Counsel found that FPL has been over-collecting from customers and that they should decrease rates next year. Nearly half of every dollar that FPL has requested is for shareholder profit. That's neither fair nor reasonable. This situation highlights a deeper problem. The Florida Public Service Commission is broken. It's supposed to protect the public interest, not enable corporate giveaways while ratepayers suffer. And that's why we urgently need legislative reform. Today, Congresswoman Kathy Castor joins us to discuss her initiative to bring ethics to energy on a national scale. But we also need state legislation to modernize how the PSC operates here in Florida. Legislation could do the following: make utilities share responsibility for fuel cost spikes. Right now, all the risk falls on consumers. Tie utility profits to performance, specifically how well they meet energy efficiency and clean energy targets. require a more balanced capital structure. Florida utilities are allowed to over-rely on equity, and bringing the debt-to-equity ratio in line with national norms would offer relief for Florida families and bring transparency to a system that currently operates in the shadows, with clearer reporting, more accessible hearings, and greater public accountability for both the utilities and the PSC. These aren't radical ideas. They're common sense reforms that reflect how utility regulation is evolving across the country. We can't solve Florida's affordability crisis without reforming the PSC to serve people, not profits. Thank you.
We have got to fight for reforms in order to lower cost and tackle the affordability squeeze. Everywhere I go, I hear from my neighbors they just cannot believe the crushing toll that rising electric bills is having here in the Sunshine State. And most folks probably don't understand that the reason that FP&L and Duke and TECO are granted monopolies, they're allowed to be monopolies, is in exchange for requirements that they serve the public, that they operate in the public interest. But unfortunately, too often utility companies and the politicians who regulate them don't act in the public interest. They act instead in the interest of their shareholders that make it more expensive for ratepayers across our state. I often joke that we should rename the Public Service Commission the Utility Service Commission, because more often than not, they are in service to the electric utilities rather than the public. Part of the problem with rising costs when it comes to electric bills is the fact that these monopoly electric and gas utilities charge their customers for lobbying, for corporate brand advertising, for perks for executives that often work against the customer interest. And Floridians know this firsthand because one of the most egregious examples happened a couple of years ago when Florida Power and Light spent millions of dollars to run ghost candidates against their critics in the state legislature. They hired private investigators to follow journalists and influence news coverage. They put out actual fake news to mislead voters. So folks are pretty sick and tired of these shenanigans and the crushing higher costs. So I recently reintroduced my Ethics in Energy Act, which would ban utility companies from using ratepayer dollars to fund political activities. It would prevent utility companies from forcing their customers to pay higher electric bills to fund the lobbying, the public relations, and work in opposite to the interest of their customers. We simply can no longer stand idly by and allow these powerful energy companies to profit off of hardworking Americans not here in Florida and not anywhere else. So the Ethics in Energy Act would direct the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC, to ensure that electric utilities place expenses, these kind of lobbying and political expenses, in accounts that are not recovered from ratepayers. The bill will instruct FERC to make sure that ratepayers are not charged for those expenses. The prohibited expenses would include any activities that directly or indirectly influence federal, state, or local regulations, legislation, local ordinances, or repeal or modify existing ones. They wouldn't be able to use ratepayer dollars for elections or appointments of public officials. They would not be able to use ratepayer dollars on the approval, modification, or revocation of utility franchises. They wouldn't be able to use those dollars on public opinion swaying with federal, state, or local regulations, legislation, ordinances, elections, referenda, or rate setting, or the advertising, marketing, and public relation expenses designed to influence public opinion. Those are a few of the things that the bill would do, but in essence, here in Florida, we've got to put public back into Public Service Commission, and we've got to ensure that everyone is working in the public interest and not in the interest of their own profits and their own bottom line.
We'll be right back with more Fox 35 News Plus in 2 minutes.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Weimer, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning. Officials in Seminole County today announced the Red Bull Tandem roller coaster is coming to Central Florida. It's actually the first time they're going to hold this event in the United States, and it's going to be held in Altamont Springs. If you just wait till you see some of the video from the previous events of this, it involves two-person teams that design and build creative, non-motorized tandem bicycles. So two people are riding these things on an obstacle course, basically over the water. Sounds really cool. They expect 30,000 people to be at the event in Altamont Springs later this year. And officials talked about what it means to bring this here and what people can expect. This was a news conference at Cranes Roost Park just a little bit ago.
And it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to Altamont Springs, especially as we prepare to make history by hosting a groundbreaking, one-of-a-kind experience right here in Cranes Roost Park. For the first time ever, Red Bull Tandem roller coaster is coming to the United States, and we're honored they've chosen Altamont Springs as the launch site for this exhilarating, high-energy, and wildly creative event. On Saturday, September 27th, our beautiful Cranes Roost Park will transform into a stage for ingenuity, showmanship, and pure fun. And yes, we are really, really excited to have this in our city. This event wouldn't be possible without the collaboration of our exceptional teams at the city, Red Bull, the Greater Orlando Sports Commission, Seminole County, and Orlando North. Together, we are bringing something bold, new, and unforgettable to the community. Cranes Roost Park, with its picturesque water features, floating stage, and amphitheater-like layout, is the perfect venue for an event like this. It allows thousands to gather, cheer, and enjoy the action up close in a safe, family-friendly environment. We expect to welcome over 30,000 visitors to our city for this incredible event. That's 30,000 people experiencing the magic of Altamont Springs, discovering what makes our community so special, and joining us in a moment of creative joy and athletic energy. So whether you're a competitor, a fan, family, or a first-time visitor, we are thrilled to have you join us for a day filled with laughter, awe, and excitement. Thank you for being part of this moment with us. We look forward to seeing you on September 27th.
On behalf of Seminole County and the Seminole County Commission, we want to welcome you to what's truly one-of-a-kind event. We're proud to be the host of this incredible Red Bull experience right here in the heart of Central Florida. Seminole County has built a national reputation as a premier destination for sports tourism and outdoor adventures. We're known for world-class sports facilities, miles of scenic trails, and a community that embraces bold ideas, and Red Bull's tandem roller coaster fits that just perfect. This is more than a thrill ride. It's a global brand choosing Seminole County to showcase creativity, athleticism, and fun. This event highlights why Seminole County continues to be one of the most desirable places to live, work, and play. Events like this just don't bring excitement, they bring visibility, tourism, economic development to our businesses and hospitality partners. It's another example how we balance the quality of life here in Seminole County. This wouldn't be possible without strong partnerships from our tourism boards, our economic development teams, to Red Bull, the City of Altamont Springs, the Greater Orlando Sports Commission, and the Central Florida Hotel and Lodging Association. All of our community partners in Central Florida will be part of this event. Seminole County is proud to support creative, well-managed events that map our region for the map of innovation and experience. We want to thank Red Bull for choosing the City of Altamont Springs and Seminole County for doing this, and I look forward to the event, and I hope each and every one of you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Commissioner Zembauer, of course, Mayor Bates. What a great day, and how apropos, of course, that Altamont Springs will have its very own roller coaster, joining the likes of Disney, Universal, and SeaWorld right here in the theme park capital of the world. Congratulations, of course, to Teresa and your team with Red Bull. Thank you for the opportunity to host the event here in Seminole County, Altamont Springs, and equally as excited because this will be the first time that the tandem roller coaster will be hosted in the United States of America. We've been proud partners with Seminole County for over 30 years, and just to share a little bit about that success, and by the way, does not happen without the terrific leadership here in this community, but Danny Trossett and Guy Kuna and their team, in partnership with our agency and a number of others, hosting 90 events here in Seminole County this year, drawing over 200,000 visitors and with an economic impact of over $55 million. And if you take a look at the activity in Seminole County over the last 10 years, over 800 events, 1.6 million visitors, and over $370 million of economic impact. So certainly taking a look at those numbers, makes sense that sports tourism is one of the largest visitor markets, if not the largest visitor market here in the county. We're so proud that so many sports organizations, including FIFA and the NCAA and WWE and MLS, have hosted events in the county, in Seminole County, and we are really proud to add Red Bull and the Red Bull team, and of course the tandem roller coaster, to that portfolio. So in closing, congrats again to the Board of County Commissioners, to Mayor Pat Bates and the City of Altamont Springs, Danny and Guy, and the county's Office of Economic Development and Tourism. We are proud at the Greater Orlando Sports Commission to play a small role in the success here in Central Florida. really looking forward to this incredible family event. So thanks, everyone.
It is just such a privilege to have the Red Bull roller coaster event coming here to Altamont Springs on September 27th. It is just such a treat. We've seen success with this event over in Europe, so the fact that it's coming to the United States for the first time, and you can see this incredible contraption here over to our side. So having, you know, the community able to come together, build out their own contraptions, and take them on their very own roller coaster ride, you know, it's very fitting the fact that Central Florida is such a popular, you know, theme park and roller coaster destination. This just goes hand in hand, and there really is no event like a Red Bull event. So grab your mom, your dad, sister, brother, as long as there's 2 of you, and submit those applications to participate in the event before, I think it's August 15th, with the winners being announced August 25th. We are going to have ourselves one heck of a time out here. Really looking forward to it, and thank you all for coming out today.
Yeah, how fun does that look? I mean, I guess it's probably more fun if you do well than if you don't, and if you end up in the water. But just to give you a little bit of a taste of what we're talking about there. And again, as Gunther Oka said at the end there, applications are open through August 15th. So that's another, week or so. The winning team, the selected teams will be announced on August 25th. And then this event is scheduled for Saturday, September 27th, at Cranes Roost Park in Altamont Springs. And like I said earlier, they're expecting 30,000 people to be there. The first time this has been in the United States, and I'm sure it'll be a big draw here as well. So yeah, might have to come up with some creative ideas there and see what you can create for that tournament. Really cool. Well, we appreciate you joining us here on Fox 35 News Plus. We'll be back at 2 o'clock for Florida Live, or sooner if news breaks. So keep it here on Fox Local. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you soon.